Hey everyone, Card Games United again, another easy to post deck profile. This time Shadow Paladins, because they're fun. They're
We
pretty
have a lot for you today.
Yee.
Because we've been slacking on deck profiles. Well, let's post anything that's
We've
remotely.
been slacking on everything. Well, we'll work on that, we promise. Yeah, today Shadow Paladins, pretty good, pretty strong. Very fun, a lot of tech options, a lot of play, just an all-around good deck that I wish there was more of in this game. Anyway, so starting off with the grade 3s, we run at least 3 Peanut Butter Dragon.
Hey, where's the fourth one?
We run at least 3 Peanut Butter Dragon. Then we run 4 Gust Blaster Dragon. New guy here, Force Gift, on Vanguard Circle, on attack, counterblast 1, sack 2, gets 10,000, your opponent sacks 1, and you draw a card. Pretty handy, good for attrition. The real headline of this deck is his second effect, though. If he's got another grade 3 Blaster in Soul, which can be either another copy of him or a copy of Peanut Butter Dragon, he gets a crit for every time a card is retired. So,
Did you lose the fourth copy
what?
of PBD?
No, we're running at least 3 Peanut Butter Dragon.
What's this yellow card over here?
Nothing. So that's what really gives this deck its like unique play style, where you can just essentially sit on this guy all day, say, okay, I'm only going to deal you like 2 or 3 damage, and I'm going to be swinging in with 3 or 4 crit every single time.
Geese.
It's a little geezy, but
At least I get more damage to work with.
sometimes. I could honestly do it from 1 or 0 if I wanted. Because this deck can generate resources out the wazoo. Speaking of generating resources, we have 4 copies of this deck's Bread and Butter, Skull Witch Nemane. 5k, grade 1, act, rest her, search your deck for another card with 5k power, call it to rear guard. You can only, and then she has a hard once per turn clause.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, yeah. But yeah, it's good that they did that so that you can just go rest, call Skull Witch, rest, call Skull Witch, rest, call Skull Witch, rest, call Swordbreaker. Yeah, so we run 4. We want to see this as early and as often as possible. We just want it on board all day, every game, to keep generating us resources. So we have stack fodder, so we have pluses. There's just, this card has almost no cost. It's a +1, generates resources every single turn. This card is amazing. I do not know why you would not run it at 4. Next up, to combo with our Skull Witch, we have 4 copies of Black Winged Swordbreaker. On call, counterblast 1, draw a card, and then if you called her from hand, she gets 5k. So, pretty useful card all around, if you have the CB to pay for her. Otherwise, she's essentially just a token for Skull Witch to call out. But that's not that bad. Like, it keeps you from having to dig into your trigger lineup, essentially. And then, if you can pay for the counterblast cost, just a cheap easy +1. Next up, we have 4 copies of Black Sage Karen. Now, with the way the deck is, this effect doesn't go off all that often, but just having that 1 out to countercharging is, well, it's 1 more out than you would have otherwise. Also, 8k body. Something had to be.
I also don't have anything else to play.
It's not entirely true. But,
Countercharging is important.
yes, that it is.
Even if you only have 1 card that can help you with it.
Well, technically 2 cards.
It's
But
more than Royals have.
we'll get to it in a second. Next up, we have our hot spicy tech option, 2 copies of Abyss Router. I really like this card. Other people don't like it so much. That's fine. Sometimes it can bite you in the butt, but it's really good for just generating fodder. So, next up, 4 copies of Darkness Maiden Maka. I think this is another one of those cards that's just going to be in every single version of the deck. Like, builds 23k columns, gets you pluses.
It's your countercharger, de facto.
Well, she is not a countercharger because she calls for a counterblast, and then even if you have the Karen, you're on counterblasting the counterblast, you just counterblasted.
She also draws you a card.
She does draw you a card, and that is very important, and the 23k column wielding is fairly important. She is just an all-around good card. Run her at 4. Next up, 4 copies of Darkbond Trumpeter. Counterblast 1, wherever you put her, call Skull Witch Domain. And then whenever you call a card with 5k, it gets 3k.
How about we talk about the elephant in the room here?
Hey, Andre.
What?
Did you see how I edited out that thing you just said?
What?
Yeah, exactly. So, Darkbond Trumpeter. Some people like to run her at less than 4. I honestly understand the argument of you're probably not going to use this card all that often. You're probably only going to go into it once or twice. But the fact of the matter is, I just want to have the Nemen turn 2. Turn 1 if I can. But this will guarantee that, well, not perfectly guarantee because, you know, math. But this comes as close as you can get to guaranteeing that you will have it by turn 2. And then you will be generating resources every turn. Final grade 2, 3 copies of Cursed Lancer. Essentially, you're only out to real unflipping. Does a decent job swinging for numbers, and also helps power Gust Blaster. It's a fine card. Don't know what else to say about it. I like him. Honestly, as a card, he's like sort of meh, but, you know, in this version of the deck, he does work very well. It's really helpful to have just more counterblast so you can just plus, 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 plus. Now for triggers. We got 4 copies of Heal Trigger. We got 6 copies of Crit Trigger. Got 4 PGs and 2 Vanilla Heals. This deck really likes resources, and while the crits can be nice, you're going to generate enough of them on your own that you really don't need to be drive checking them. So having just more fodder resources is much more helpful than having the additional crits in your deck. So that was the deck profile. Andre, can you think of any important cards I might be missing? Andre, can you think of any important cards I might be missing?
What about that grade 3 dude? Who's like, I can call something, or you can put it in the drop zone.
Bob Carr?
Yeah.
Meh. I'd rather have the consistency of just having the 8 blasters.
What about the Jackass card?
I like him, I miss him, but I really needed the space for Lancer. And it really doesn't matter how much I'm hitting you for on the rear guard, because most of the win con in this deck is just swinging with big numbers from your Vanguard. So, well, sometimes you will play the other way, where you do essentially try to play a more normalized game plan and try and swing with big numbers all around. There's a lot of the time that it just comes down to Gust Blaster for the game, and Kothbad doesn't really help with that, unfortunately.
Good to see that card not in there anymore.
I mean, it means I'm only going to deal you 2 damage, and then I'm going to be swinging for more crit all day. So is it really good to see him not in there?
No.
That's what I thought.
Fuck Shadow Paladins.
Hey, Andre just said he loves Shadow Paladins.
I mean, if I wasn't stuck to Royal Paladins, I would have wanted to play Shadows in V-Series. But something told me I had to get Royals.
That's weird. You're weird. Stop being weird.
But
Anyway.
I guess we'll see what Royals do when I profile them later.
Okay. So, as far as good matchups, bad matchups, anything that really likes to counterblast, this just eats.
Royal Paladins.
I can't think of anything that's essentially an inherently bad matchup for this. Because you can switch playstyles in this on a dime. So they have to be able to deal with both the sort of high consistency, high power across the board, plussing all day, or they have to deal with the I'm going to keep you at low damage and then crit your face to death. And I don't know of any deck that can very efficiently deal with both of those. There are any number of decks that could deal with one or the other, but I don't know of any that could deal with both.
Angel Feather?
Absolutely not.
Well, I guess that's Edge Lords.
I mean, yeah, kind of. The aesthetic of this deck is by far my least favorite part. It's very boring. They just took as normal units as you can imagine, spray painted them black, and called it a day.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm hungry. Bye-bye!